Myself, Prarthana. In your research as a maritime historian, was there any particular discovery or detail that surprised you the most? And if so, could you share with us what it is and how it impacted your perspective on Kerala's history or maritime trade?
One of the things that surprised me the most was actually the extent of lack of knowledge about Kerala's history. Because we grew up in India knowing that Kerala had an important role in the Indian Ocean world. And if you look at the European accounts, the only description of Kerala is Malabari pirates. And then when I started researching, I discovered that it's because so many of the Kerala princes opposed the Europeans that they begin to be called pirates. So the way in which they responded to the Europeans makes the effort to suppress them that much greater. So that I found most unexpected because we know about Muziris, Cochin, Calicut, we knew about it all along. And suddenly they say, as though Malabar doesn't exist at all. Except for pepper, there is nothing else in Malabar. So that I found most unexpected.
Myself, Arundhati Das from 8C. What discoveries or insights in your research have given you the most personal satisfaction?
Now, that is probably the most difficult question to answer because there have been so many things. So, okay, in terms of personal journeys, one of the most interesting things that I found was when I had gone to Trivandrum some years ago, and I happened to go to the port area. And over there, I was talking about the stitched boats tradition. And this person took me to his house, this fisherman, and says, Kamikiren. And he showed me a little model that he had made of a stitched boat, which he said was used by his family for many generations. So there is a craft tradition which I found phenomenal. That was something that really impressed me.
Myself, CHARUNAINIKA from 8A. Could you share the challenges and rewards of writing popular history books and how you balance academic rigor with accessibility for a general audience?
Challenges are amazing because it took me, I think, 3 years to write that because I kept rewriting it saying, no, this is too academic. I need to tone it down a little. I need to change it. I need to make it. So the challenges are immense because I'm so used to writing in academic language. To be able to write something which was non-academic was very difficult. But the rewards are the range of readers, including younger readers who are reading it. And I don't know, I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but perhaps today the most rewarding one is that there is the Atta Galata shortlist for fiction and non-fiction for children and young adults books. And my book has been shortlisted for non-fiction for young readers. So I find that the most rewarding.
Myself, AZRA. What advice would you give to students who are keen to study about history or cultural studies?
Talk to people. Remember that memory is a very, very strong carrier of cultural memory. Talk to the older people, go out, look at the city around you. The city has culture embedded in it. So field work, talking, and then the rigor of sitting in the library and getting the textual information. So hard work, of course, but that kind of hard work.
Myself, Deva CHAITHRA. What is the role of historians in today's society, and how does historical research influence political and international relations?
Historians, many professional historians have unfortunately separated themselves from society, which is why we have, unfortunately again, a gap between academic history and popular history. And very often, popular history is a lot of rubbish. I mean, it's opinions pretending to be history. But history needs to be taken to schools, taught a little better, explained a little better, explaining the relevance because history is finally a record of who we all are as human beings. And Politics tends to identify the political agenda rather than the people as a whole. So what they want you to talk about, they will talk about. But there is much more to history than just politics, because history is a record, a living record of who we are and what we are capable of.
Myself, HAYA from 8th A. With the rise of digital archives and tools, how do you see technology changing historical research and the way history is taught?
In some ways, it's made it easier. As in, when I started research, I had to go to 3 different archives and look for the material. Today, a lot of it is there at the click of a mouse. The flip side of that is that there is so much available online that by the time you've navigated your way through a few, you're already tired of it. So there is an overdose of information, and to be able to go through all of that to come up with something concrete is, maybe because of my generation, much more difficult than sitting in the library and looking at the books. But the digital world is a world which gives us access to all kinds of knowledge from many parts of the world. So yes, it's important.
Myself, KENZA. So how do you think studying history, especially in maritime history, can benefit students and society today?
Okay, the maritime world is one which, most importantly, cannot be studied through a single lens. So if you look at maritime, you're looking at what is on the water, people's places, livelihoods. You're looking at what is in the water, ecology, environment, and the way in which the environment affects us. For instance, there is a study going on now on how you can revive the mangroves to control the fury of the hurricanes. So there is a scientific dimension to it. There is also cultural connections. What are the languages that circulate? Around the Arabian Sea, Swahili, Tamil, Malayalam, and Gujarati are the languages that you can even today speak anywhere on the coast in any of these places and be understood. So there is the culture, there is the technology, there is fishing, of course, the kinds of fish that are there. And there is this huge musical system around. Nobody studies the music of this world. And there is a phenomenal amount of music. So the songs of the fishermen of Kerala, of the Konkan coast, of Gujarat, and of Ethiopia have the same rhythms. So you've got this comparative music that can also be studied.
Myself, KHADEEJA from Standard 8B. Ma'am, I would like to ask you the question. In an era where STEM fields are highly promoted, how can we help students see the value of studying humanities?
STEM is finally studied by humans in society. If you don't know in science, technology, mathematics, who's studying it? Human beings are. What is our basis? It is our social environment within which we have. You cannot identify technology unless you know the society that is going to accept it. You cannot develop science unless you build a social environment in which science is important. So you can't do without society in order to promote these.
My name is KHADEEJA. So as you know, there are a lot of cases which are arising recently based on the corruption of history, especially in textbooks like NCERT. So how do you think it's going to affect us students?
Unfortunately, very badly, because the way in which NCERT particularly has, over the years, not just now, but over the years, chopped and changed ideas according to a political agenda, means that students are divorced from the continuity of history. What you end up getting is a series of meaningless dates and events which don't give you a sense of history. So that is my major problem with the agendas of every political system which has looked at history.